I, F28, am taller than my husband, M28, and people, even total strangers, constantly comment about it. This one is a little more light-hearted than a lot of the other posts on here, so I hope people don't mind. It's just something that gets on my nerves, and I want to ask some advice. We've been together since high school, and while my husband takes it on the chin, I just can't believe how many people make comments about his height directly to his face. People will crack jokes about him and then earnestly expect me to laugh along like they're in the right. I don't know how many times someone has expected me to side with them, a total stranger, instead of with my best friend and the father of my children. If I had $1 for every time someone leaned into me and whispered conspiratorially that my partner must be inadequate in bed like they're doing me some favor and I'm supposed to be relieved to have the opportunity to make fun at the only person I consistently like in this world, I'd be able to take our whole family on vacation. Why do people do that? Why do they feel entitled to make us feel like a sideshow for their amusement? I'm not even that much taller. I'm 5 feet 6 inches to his 5 feet 3 inches. Half the time I think it's less about him shorter than his wife and more that they just consider him to be plain old short, as if that's some grand sin that deserves constant othering and comments. I've talked to him about it. He always tells me it doesn't bother him that much and that I should never give them the energy of getting upset about it, but, once again, he's my best friend in this life. The fact that people always expect me to side with them about it is just so eerie. What could their relationships be like if that's what they expect? Sometimes, Reddit, you come up with wonderfully creative solutions to things. What can I do? I know very tall people go through a similar thing as well, constant comments from total strangers, even ones that are sexually inappropriate. Does anyone have any advice on how I can respond to this without having to either giggle shyly and agree, or be the bad guy taking things too seriously and be told, it's just a joke? So my mom has a hang-up about dating shorter men and my comeback for years has been it doesn't matter horizontally. Not sure if you'd feel comfortable saying that, but it might put people in their place. Currently dealing with this with my fiance. Shock horror, I'm wearing heels to our upcoming wedding and the comments from anyone I've shown these shoes to have all been along the lines of are they a bit tall considering groom's height? Woman face palming, the shoes are fabulous and he is fabulous for not questioning the price tag on the shoes. Are they a bit tall considering groom's height? Just tell them he won't be the one wearing them. What an odd thing to say, might do it. Edit, I'm from San Antonio and I'm Indian American. I get asked where I'm from, San Antonio, then, no, where are you really from? Often enough to have a response ready SMH. What an odd thing to ask seems to do it. Or a good why would you say that? One of my old friends married a woman a few inches taller than him, and he is 6 feet tall, so she is very tall. They get these comments sometimes. They have their routine down pat now. If someone comments about her being taller than him in any kind of derogatory way, she will immediately agree and comment to her husband how the commenter is fatter than their partner. It usually results in a change of topic. Start making them explain themselves. Go, I don't get it, can you explain the joke? They will stop real quick cause they will quickly understand that you do not find it funny. P.S. My husband is significantly shorter than me too. 5 feet 5 inches to my 5 feet 9 inches. Disgusted by the porn my boyfriend watches. So I don't really like porn. I think it's toxic for relationships, teaches unrealistic expectations about sex and its extremity just makes people need more and more perversion to be turned on. I've only had 2 boyfriends and I've been honest about my view of porn to them. I didn't outright ban them from watching it, but I told them I wouldn't watch it with them, that I'm not going to live out any porn fantasy, and I'd prefer if they didn't watch, but if they do, just kept it away from me. I started dating my current boyfriend 3 months ago. I told him my view of porn really early. He seemed understanding and actually told me he agreed. The relationship was great at the beginning, but we started having some issues in our sex life. He sometimes struggled to maintain an erection. I didn't want to shame him for something that could make him insecure, so I didn't really bring it up much. Another issue is that was a bit of a selfish lover and and didn't seem overly concerned with making me orgasm. Whenever I tried to talk about it, he kinda got defensive and deflected. He recently let me use his laptop at his house to work on an assignment. I've used his laptop a few times before. He accidentally left a page up with like 12 tabs up, most of which were porn. I wasn't really shocked he was watching porn, but when I looked at some of the titles of what he was watching, I was disgusted. So much of it was like r/p scenes or g/ngb/ung stuff. I looked into his history and a lot of it was like that. I tried to watch one to see what it was actually like, and I watched about 3 minutes before I turned it off because it was triggering. I packed up my stuff and told him I wasn't sure if the relationship was going to work and I wanted to leave. After a bit of arguing back and forth where he haggled me for details, I finally left the house. He later texted me about what was wrong and I explained that I wasn't comfortable with what porn he was watching and it really grossed me out. He called me many times and I finally answer, and of course he acts like I'm extremely overreacting and I'm a prude, and most guys watch stuff like, it's just fantasy, it's not real, and I'm making him seem like something he's not. He says I'm making him seem like a pervert and shaming his kinks. He then told me he would stop watching it and begged me to take him back. I'm conflicted because I really liked the guy, but we were already having issues without sex life and the porn issue makes it worse. I think porn that depicts overt violence and r/p towards women is disgusting and says something about how he views women. My brother thinks that I overreacted and that even if I break up with him I didn't have to treat him like a pervert. I just want advice in what to do. I'm not crazy for wanting to end the relationship over this, am I? Another issue is that was a bit of a selfish lover and didn't seem overly concerned with making me orgasm. Whenever I tried to talk about it he kinda got defensive and deflected. Selfish lover that doesn't want to talk or improve. This would be the reason to break up even before you found the porn. I think it comes down to compatibility and boundaries. You're allowed for porn to be a boundary, regardless of genre. But at the same time, porn is out there and a lot of people enjoy it. You're just going to have to be more selective in your dating choices. It's just like any other preference, there are people out there that agree with you. You just have to find them. Break up with him. Don't be conflicted. You are not compatible and 3 months is a great time to cut your losses and move on. You are allowed to feel uncomfortable. You are allowed to break up with someone for any reason at all, or for no reason at all. You and this person have incompatible views regarding porn and sex in general. There is no reason you have to stay with him. You don't need to prove him or the internet that you're right, but your feelings are valid. It is also valid for him to want to continue watching the porn that he does. But those things probably cannot peacefully coexist in a relationship. So, just as you said, it's probably not going to work out. You don't have to convince him of that and you do not need to relitigate your position on the matter. Say goodbye and be done. You two are just incompatible. It happens. You don't have to accept what he's into and he doesn't have to accept your opinion of it. It's only been a few months. Leave now and you'll both find someone else you're more into. I'm not gay, but my new coworker is the most attractive person I've ever seen. Last month I was introduced to my new coworker. He's the most intriguing and attractive person I've ever met, and I'm guessing that what I'm feeling now can be easily identified as gay panic. I'm not gay, I'm pretty surely straight. I've had multiple girlfriends in the past and I've never looked at another man in the same way I looked at them. Hence my utter confusion. I'm also getting misleading signals from him about his own sexuality, and I'm having a hard time interpreting his actions and comments. First, I don't even know his age. He might be around 30, no more than 3 years older than me. He's very elegant and distinguished, and precise in his work. He always comments on how great of a team we are, and how he's glad we met. He never really talks about his family or friends, or even hobbies, except cooking. Which brings me to my last point. He invited me for dinner in his house. I'm not sure if I'm the only one invited, but at this point I'm too afraid to ask. I mean, you don't have to be gay to find someone of the same sex attractive. I suppose it comes down to what's going through your mind whilst you're thinking about him. Do a bottle test. Say you'd like to bring some wine, ask if the meal will pair better with red or white, and ask how many people you should plan to pour for. Sexuality and attraction are a spectrum, not black and white. There's a post above that's very well written, so I won't bother. I'd argue very few of us are truly one thing or another, we're all just kind of existing and finding what and who makes us happy. If you're not sure, and it turns out he's interested, be honest. You know there's a big gray area between gay and straight, right? Bisexual/pansexual people exist along with people who just occasionally are attracted to specific people of the opposite sex but are otherwise usually straight. Nothing wrong with any of it. A sexuality distinction is a label for who you feel like you're sexually attracted to, not a place you choose to live that can't ever be altered and where you can't ever discover more about yourself. There's no reason to be afraid. He's not going to flip if you ask him simple questions about what the plan for the evening is to get a better idea of what you're walking into. As someone who accidentally ended up on a date once because I misinterpreted the invite, I can tell you it's better to ask now than to show up thinking it's a group event and have it just be you two. Great advice. Just hopping on to suggest that perhaps you ask, so, how many people are coming for dinner? Just want to know if I should bring one bottle of wine or two, or something else entirely. This way you appear to be a gracious guest while figuring out the deets. There are different kinds of attraction and it may help to identify what you're feeling. Aesthetic attraction, you find them pleasing to look at or are attracted to the way that he presents himself. Sensual attraction to sensory cues involving him pertaining to any of the 5 senses. Enjoying his look, smell, touch, voice, etc. Sexual attraction, that pull that says yeah I'd FCK. As a bisexual, I can say this feeling is often different between men and women, so it's hard to identify at first. Platonic attraction, a pull to be close to someone in a friendly manner. You want to be close to someone but not quite close enough for romantic/sexual intimacy. Romantic attraction, similar to platonic but add that want to be more emotionally involved. This can sometimes conflict with physical attraction, like how someone might be willing to FCK but the idea of being with them in an emotionally committed relationship does not jive. To figure this one out is going to require some introspection on your part. Ignore labels and just follow your gut. It may take time but you can probably work out the source of the feeling on your own. Wish you luck, my friend. Some people are just ridiculously good looking. So true. I'm mostly straight but still identify as bi because there are times where I'm just so captivated by how bow today I fucked up women are. I've slept with a few women but it never felt quite as exciting as sex with a man. I'd still do it again. I've noticed I'm most attracted to women that look similar to me and have the same style. I know that sounds weird AF. Sexuality is weird.